Hey guys, Coach Mazzoni with College Baseball Advisors. My son's probably yelling at me now that I'm filming this, not showered, with a silly hat on, with no backdrop, on a terrible camera for this computer, for this laptop. However, the material is what I want to get to you. And this is really going towards high school hitters and pitchers, high school players. Um, and if college players want to watch, great. The reason I'm doing this video is I deal with a lot of college players, either former players I've coached, players I've helped in the recruiting process, kids I'm just working with in general. And I'm seeing a lot of early season struggles for hitters and pitchers for a variety of reasons. But I want to go through it now so that if you're in preseason and you don't open till later this month or next month, you could start considering doing some of these changes. Now, my coaching style generally has always been there's things I suggest, and then there's absolutes that have to be a certain way. Really, these are all suggestions. You have to become your own best coach and try to implement them and see if they work from you for you. I'm just doing this as 30 years as a college coach and really 30 years working with kids from pros, minors, college, high school, youth, etc. So take this for what you will. As the season gets closer, I suggest hitters start doing the following things. Number one, I start adjusting my tee work. I don't make my tee work only about my swings and drills and one arm and hip work and all that kind of stuff. I start using the tee more game like. I look out, I visualize a pitcher. I see lefty, righty, different heights from the pitcher, different mounds, different backdrops, different arm slots. And so if I'm placing a ball in the outer half, that could be an 88-mile-an-hour fastball from a righty. It could be a backdoor breaking ball from a 63-mile-an-hour, drop down lefty. I'm adjusting that all the time. And I'm putting the tee also at various positions. Maybe I'm fooled and I'm out front. Maybe the pitch is 4 inches off the plate, but I know that the umpire is calling it that day. So I'm starting to work on tee work that is more game like and not just working on my swing, but actually working on my hitting. Second thing is anytime I'm doing front toss, whether it's underhand, overhand. The other day I was giving a lesson. Some cool mom was throwing front toss to her kid. I thought that was awesome. So front toss can be done in a lot of ways with a teammate, whoever's doing it. Start to change speeds, whether it's fast, slow, or just it's a little bit different. Start to adjust the speeds on what your front toss is. Okay. Secondly, see live arm as much as possible. Anything overhand, even if you got a teammate who stinks at BP because he's not really great, you know what? You'll get work seeing pitches out of the zone and starting to identify what's in the zone. Even if you get 2 or 3 swings out of every 10, that's still helpful. So see and moving arm overhand as much as you possibly can. In addition to that, I am absolutely standing in for bullpens any single time that I can. And I might be working on pitch recognition or just going for what pitch I'd swing at in the game. I'd start to see that as much as possible. Maybe even you're in a situation where you could drop down a sack bunt or work on a base hit bunt because you can't hit live, but you could work on bunting. So the more you could stand in and see pens, the better. Ted Williams is famous for actually hiring people to throw bullpens, and he would just watch and he would build his eye and start to work on visualization. Hitting is a hand-eye sport, and the closer and the more often you can do it game like, the better, which is difficult because you can't always get a dude to throw 60 feet 6 inches game like all the time, but you can as pitchers are starting to throw their pens. Also, within all these hitting things, I start to hit in game situations, meaning, all right, we're up 7-0 in the last inning, and they bring in some dude from the outfield who's never pitched before. All right, that's time for me to try to jack one out and get my first homer of the season. Maybe it's also now in a pressure situation where I've come off the bench and there's a runner on third with one out, and now I got to produce a fly ball or a ground ball to get the run in. Maybe it's a hit and run. Maybe it's hitting behind the runner. Maybe it's 2-strike situations or getting a guy that throws heavy breaking balls. So try to start hitting with a count with a game situation that's in mind. Next thing is practice being uncomfortable. What does that mean? That means, I don't know, hit with a bad backdrop where it's really hard to see, hit where it's a little bit darker, hit off an angle, hit closer, hit further, hit where you put shoes on the opposite feet, hit with someone else's bat, hit up in the zone or in the box, back and start getting situations where you're like, man, this does not feel comfortable. Why? Because I can tell you now, you will get in game situations where things are not perfect, where the mound's a little taller or shorter, or the backdrop is weird, or you feel pressure because if you don't get a hit, the coach is not going to start you again. Get practice being uncomfortable in those situations. You can even have teammates talking smack. I've done it all the time in college. Hey, dude, you're going to strike out, or this game's on ESPN. The pitcher on the mound, you struck out 4 times in a row. This guy always has your number. Good luck, dude. Right. So you're talking a little smack, trying to get a little bit uncomfortable. And along those lines, that's what mental training is. You probably know how to lift weights perfectly, right? You know what you're doing. You know how to do lessons. You know how to hit. You know how to take ground balls. You know how to do all these things. But you're probably not mentally training. What mental training is not that confusing. It's rehearsing, seeing yourself doing things well. So seeing yourself visualizing, getting to the field, taking BP, seeing the pitcher on the other team, guys that you faced in the uniform and the field that you'll be on. See yourself producing a great swing, a double into the gap, going to second base and making a sign to your teammates, right? So do that. So see mastery. And then you can also do work with adversity. Adversity is, oh my God, I can't see the ball today. It looks like a ping pong ball today. I struck out twice. Now I come up in a big spot. How am I going to handle these adverse situations? The umpire calls the first pitch, 3 inches outside. It's definitely a ball, but he calls it a strike. Is your at bat over at that point? Because you're now frustrated and you're going to go to the bench and go complain to the guys. Well, that pitch is 3 inches outside. How could I hit there in that at bat? Or are you going to go, well, be mentally tougher and go, that stinks. I don't want that pitch to be a strike, but you know what? I got 2 more left. Bring it on. Right. So those are things that hitters can do as the season progresses. For pitchers, somewhat similar is as you're playing catch, you now have to start working on your command all the time of the fastball, of your breaking ball, of your changeup. You can't play catch at this stage of getting close to the season and talking about math class and talking about, what you watched on TV, etc. Every throw you make is precious. So your partner has to put a target up and you have to be working on something. And if your partner is a knucklehead, well, then I throw to his left shoulder and his right shoulder and his logo and his hip. Every throw has a purpose and a target for it, because ultimately when you're pitching in a game, you're trying to get the ball to go where you want it to go. And on that note, to me, there are 3 intentions when we are pitching. One is we are working on our delivery. That could be plyos, that could be dry work, that could be throwing into a net. I am working on my delivery. I don't care about anything else. The second type of pitching practice or pitching work is bullpen. In a bullpen, I'm trying to become a pro at making the ball do what I want it to do. I want my fastball to go to the corner, up in the zone, down the middle. I want it to be running off the plate. I want to have my breaking ball for a strike, my breaking ball in the dirt. I'm trying to become a pro at making the baseball do what I want it to do. And then in a game, the goal is to get the batter out and to beat the hitter. And the focus should be on that. So if I throw bad breaking balls in a game, I'm not thinking about mechanics. I'm thinking about, I got to get this pitch down in the zone to get this, knucklehead with a bat at the plate out. So it becomes about the player and the competition as opposed to always about yourself. A lot of guys think just about themselves when they're hitting and when they're pitching, and they're forgetting about it's old school competition of beating the guy across from you. As I said, for hitters, pitchers, you should have a batter stand in for your bullpen now. Let's get game like as much as possible. If you want to tell them what pitch is coming so you're comfortable, fine. If you want to work on throwing your fastball inside and you don't want to hit a teammate, we'll put him up at the plate with the bat in one hand and a glove in the other. And if the pitch happens to be way inside and is going to drill him, he could just catch it. But you need to start getting batters in pens as often as you possibly can. And those bullpens, whether you have a batter or not, should now not just be random fastballs, curveballs, sliders, change, splits, etc. They should be, hey, this is a 0. I'm throwing 0-0 pitches for the next 6 pitches. These are all 1-0 pitches. These are 1-1 pitches. These are 1-2 pitches. or even have the first 3 pitches of an at-bat. So your catcher calls it, you throw a first pitch breaking ball. If it's a strike, the next pitch you throw is 0-1. If the breaking ball is a ball, now it's a 1-0 count. Maybe it's a lefty, maybe it's a righty, maybe you're in the windup, maybe you're in the stretch. And just in that note that I talked about with the hitters, practice being uncomfortable. How do you do that? Guys talk smack to you. Maybe it's a competition, you versus the pitcher on the other mound, and you're having a game of horse. Fastball for a strike. You hit it, he doesn't, he's got H. He goes the next one, breaking ball buried. He throws it, you don't, you have H. It could be putting shoes on different feet. It could be throwing on a weird mound. It could be having a batter stand in crazy close to the plate. It could be putting an umpire back there. You throw a pitch on the corner, he calls ball. Maybe you're in the stretch, you now get a base runner as a teammate. You have to look at the runner, deliver the pitch, runner on second, right? It's hard to practice those things, but we know making quality pitches with runners on in games is really what separates elite pitchers from average pitchers. And then same as I said before, it's time to start putting in 5-minute sessions per day of mental training. What does that mean? Again, that is practicing. Hey, here's the way I'm going to get to the field. Here's the way I'm going to do my warm up. I'm going to do my plyos. I'm going to do my bands. I'm going to do my pregame throwing or my bullpen. If I'm a reliever, I'm talking about, goofy stuff in the bullpen. Then the coach calls and says, I got to get ready. What's going to happen in those situations? How am I going to prep for who's coming up? Am I going to try to be staying warm during a game and doing bands and playing catch? So when the call comes, physically and mentally close to being ready. Obviously, you can't stay completely hot, and then adversity. You got to practice adversity. Throw that great pitch, should be a double play ball. It gets booted. The umpire doesn't call the pitch the way you want it to be called. You throw a great pitch, the batter ass out, pardon me, hits a flare and gets a hit. It happens, right? Throw a great pitch, catcher drops it, becomes a ball. You give up a double, all of a sudden you look to the bullpen, 2 guys are warming up. How are you going to handle that? Are you going to go, oh my God, coach has no faith, or are you going to say, you know what, fine, you get that bullpen going. I'm about to now shut this whole inning down and dominate. The baseball game is basically pitcher versus hitter 60 feet away with other dudes standing around and an umpire and teams, etc. But that's the battle. And it's a fight with weapons, a bat and a ball 60 feet away. And as with any fight, even if you win it, you still get hit a little bit. So you could throw 6 innings of a gem of a 2-hitter, you're still going to give up a couple of barrels. You could go 2 for 4 in a game, you're still going to probably strike out or pop up. It's a tough game. So practice seeing yourself doing well, and then practice adversity as much as possible, and start adding in more game-like as much as you can as the season goes on. Hopefully that is helpful for you, and look forward to your comments and your feedback. Thank you.